go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a special morning edition live episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw, John Rocha, joined as always by the man over there, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, bud?
Eating an apple. You know, we had time for breakfast, and apples all we get back, coffee and an apple. So, we good, baby. We good.
That's the Christian Harloff diet, and that the bite-sized breakdown yesterday, Christian walked in eating an apple before we all went at it. So a lot of fun there. If you guys,
how did that go? It was the one got to stay, right?
It was a train wreck of battles. It was like movie fights all over again. And poor Amaru was holding on to 6 stallions going at it, or 5 stallions going at it. So I felt bad for him. But he did the best he could. But I thought it was a fun conversation for sure. Some good points were made by everybody. Then some pot shots were taken, of course, as we all do when we get together. And in the end, it was a fun ending for sure. But it was great to see all those guys again. I hadn't seen Brett in forever, so it was great to hang out with him.
Nice, man.
See him and stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. So see that if you watch that, if you guys want to watch that for sure. But yeah, we're here to talk about sports, to get into everything that's going on here over the next 90 minutes that went on in week 9 in the NFL and a little NBA news as well. We appreciate you all joining us this early. Not sure how many people are going to hang out with us in the morning, but hey, just hang out with us, see what's going on. And please remember to send in your Streamlabs and your Super Chats as we go along. We'd appreciate the support. And I will have an announcement. I'll probably announce it 2 or 3 times throughout the show coming up here in just a little bit, just to kind of get you guys motivated who are watching us now or watching us later. And if you're watching us right now, make sure you hit that like button as well. All right, let's jump into our first game here. Winston, let's talk about it. I mean, the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs here, Patrick Mahomes rallied them past the Titans 20-17 in overtime. He was 43 of 68 for 446 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for the tying score and threw on that 2-point conversion late in the fourth quarter again. And then later, Harrison Butker kicked the game-winning field goal after having missed field goals earlier in the game. 2 of them, he kicked it out in the overtime to win 20-17. Derrick Henry had 115 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, but Malik Willis was only 5 of 16 for 80 yards, and Travis Kelce for the Chiefs had 106 yards receiving, and almost cost him the game with that bumbling interception that he gave up to the Tennessee Titans defender there. But overall, I mean, this is the Chiefs doing what the Chiefs do best. Mahomes doing what he does best. But the Titans and Mike Vrabel, they had a great game plan for these Chiefs. They shut down the run, forced Mahomes to pass, and it wasn't until the end that Mahomes finally got the job done. So what do you take away from this game? What's your feeling about both of these teams afterwards?
I'm actually going to reiterate a little something from Undisputed, man. I think that this firmly puts Mahomes once again in the MVP conversation.
Oh, wow.
I think that that's still a pretty phenomenal game. You would hope for a few more scores than that, over 446 yards through the air. But for him to make that kind of comeback when the Chiefs really when the Titans really seem to kind of have him under control for the most part. Like, obviously he threw for 450 yards, so you didn't have him fully under control, but you kept him to 20 points. For that kind of yardage in the air, that's kind of wild. But I think the big thing to look at there is that Patrick Mahomes is once again showing you when it's time to turn it on, it's time to turn it on.
Yeah.
And the only other person that really, really, really did that this week was Brady, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Sure. I don't think he gets a pass. I think he needs to really look at your life, look at your choices, that you came down to that with the Rams. But Patrick Mahomes is just, there's a reason they call it Mahomes magic or Mahomie magic. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of the young goats. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the young quarterbacks that has already proven so much, and he's got the sauce. The Titans are starting to look a lot like, to me, I'm not going to say it about this year because I believe this year will be different for the Cowboys, but the Titans are starting to look a lot like, to me, that team that's always in the conversation and is always doing something. But they may just never get the job done. And you really gotta look at the fact that if the Titans want to walk away with the title, your best bet is, while Henry is still on the team, you have got to figure out whatever the sauce is to get it done now. I think he's maybe, after that injury, he's maybe got another 1 at max 3 years with this kind of production, because running backs take that abuse and they just start to diminish. So they got to figure something out quickly, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I see Sean Brennan coming in here saying, great game plan, caught an L, typical Chiefs hater. I'm not hating on the fucking Chiefs. What the hell? I was pointing out what happened in the game. You can't deny that the Titans had a fantastic defensive game plan for the Chiefs, a high-powered offense. They shut down their run. They forced him to pass. Mahomes had to pull passes out of his ass in order to get it done. Let's take a look at one of them right now. I think, right here. Take a look at this nonsense. No human being should be able to complete a pass like this. Look at this, running away, juking the linebacker, tossing it across his body, and then Homie almost doing a David Tyree catch to catch that ball. That's the kind of stuff that he had to pull off in order to get passes down the field against that Titans defense. They were on him like white on rice, and eventually he got the job done. And that's certainly, as Winston just pointed out, that speaks volumes about the GOAT status that he has already achieved, because he is in his prime. He's not Joe Mixon. This guy is in his prime, and not Mixon. I'm sorry, Joe Burrow. He's in his prime right now.
I was like, are you really going after Joe Mixon after the day he had? I will not be here for this slander, because I have to talk about Joe Mixon, man. Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, he was incredible. But I thought the Titans did a great job. There's so many teams in the NFL, Winston, who are just one quarterback away from really being dangerous, right? I mean, this Titans team with the receivers that are coming along, Derrick Henry, that defense that is locked down. I mean, if this is maybe Tannehill, maybe they win that game, or he throws a couple of boneheaded interceptions. I don't know. But Malik Willis got to learn to let go of that ball, got to learn to throw it away. 4th and 24 is not something you should be having on the final drive to try to win the game. And so I think that's where the Titans got smoked in the end. Eventually, the Chiefs were able to get those stops, and that makes the difference when you've got a quarterback that can hold on to the ball for a while versus a quarterback that isn't quite ready yet for prime time.
I mean, I think the thing that clearly is the difference maker, you definitely need a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and do work.
Yeah.
But considering how much faster not just corners are, so they're keeping up with the receivers and stopping some of these routes, but the linebackers able to get to you like that.
Yep.
Like the Micah Parsons of the world coming to ruin your day. Those some of the D ends are starting to get that fast.
Yeah.
You have to be able to think on your feet, move quickly, and build something out of it. Otherwise, it's why, to be honest with you, I don't want to admit it, because I still don't think he's very good, but I give Daniel Jones a little bit of credit. This man keeps running 100-yard games. He needs to throw more and throw better, but like the fact that he can extend the play, or all of a sudden you have to think about it and go, shit, he's loose. You know what I'm saying? Even Daniel Jones is that, but like, dude, everybody's doing, all the best quarterbacks. Yes, you're a pocket passer, but you know how to extend that play, because sometimes your receivers need an extra second. These defenses are getting pretty lethal, man. So nobody does it better than Mahomes. I don't care how good of a season Fields is having, which he is having an MVP caliber season.
Insane.
I and at this point, Fields is still my front runner personally. I mean, he still has the undefeated team, and like what he's been able to pull off with that squad, and then the big turnaround. That's as well as coach of the year. I don't want to admit that either, but so far the Philly coach also deserves that as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know his name. I don't need to learn his name. Screw him. But my point is,
not right now. Yeah,
for Mahomes to do it consistently this long, and to do it in a way that is so effortless, we're not looking at it and go, God damn. We're just kind of like, God damn, dude, still.
Yeah.
You know?
After, I mean, he had a sidearm pass.
Fields, I meant Hurts.
That's
so much.
You're talking about Justin.
This is why the Eagles can kiss my ass. Thank you, Nate. Yes, I meant Hurts.
Yeah,
and I take that back. It's not Hurts. It's Geno Smith. I take that back. Geno Smith is my MVP still. I'm just talking out my ass today. It's very early. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni is the coach of the Eagles. That's what you mean. Yeah, he's doing a great job with that Eagles team for sure. And yeah, some of those passes Mahomes threw. I mean, he threw a couple of sidearm passes that I'm like, how in the hell did you get that into that tight window? And how does the receiver adjust? He must throw those in practice all the time, so the receivers can adjust to those wild throws of his that are just playground stuff. You know, that's the thing that's so great about Mahomes. He's a great combination of a playground quarterback and a disciplined quarterback with technique in the NFL. And that's what makes him so difficult to beat. And so when you do beat him, it's a thing you can actually hang your hat on. And look, the Titans have a history of beating these Chiefs. I mean, they're 3-9 against these the Titans. So the Chiefs are 3-9 against these Titans. So Vrabel has dialed up Andy Reid's number a number of times the last few years. So give him props where props is deserved. But in the end, Chiefs got the victory. Sorry for everybody who thinks I'm a Chiefs hater. Let's move on to our next game here, and this is Zach Wilson and the Jets stunning whatever the Buffalo Bills, what everyone thinks is the Super Bowl perennial, the possible Super Bowl contender in the AFC. Zach Wilson and the Jets, after losing to the Patriots, thanks to Zach Wilson's boneheaded interceptions last week, they come back here, get the victory in New York, 20-17. They shut down Josh Allen, and Zach Wilson threw a touchdown pass, and Greg Zuerlein kicked a go-ahead 28-yard field goal with 1:43 remaining. Wilson finished 18 of 25 for 154 yards and a TD pass. Not a big deal, but certainly enough to get the job done. And Michael Carter coming in here as the running back, taking his number one spot again, had a 6-yard touchdown. Allen threw for 205 yards, but he was held without a TD for the first time since week 17 of last year. He did run for a touchdown, but this is the troubling thing coming out of this game. Right? The Jets are for real. They're going into the bye week only a half a game behind the Bills for the lead in the AFC East this deep into the season, which is crazy. But the Bills are 0-2 against division opponents. That's not a record you want to have at this stage in the season if you're really trying to win the division and trying to get to that Super Bowl and get home field advantage in the playoffs.
Bro, there's so much to talk about here. Jesus Christ. Yeah. First of all, you sacked Josh Allen 5 times. You had an additional 3 tackles for loss. You held this man to 0 TDs in the air and only 200 yards. What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I think, and this is where I need to apologize to Haskell, and maybe it's because the record is deceptively good for the Jets.
It is good.
That defense in Jersey is ridiculous. I don't think I understood it because I've been too busy riding my own defense's nuts all day, bro. Because we are an incredible defense, but this Jets defense, man, you kept Stephon Diggs under 100 yards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happened this entire season until yesterday. I'm going to double check that to be sure.
Well, Haskell's saying they shut him out in the second half. So he got all his 93 yards in the first half and then was shut out in the second half. And that's where you can change your game. Yeah.
It's only happened a handful of times. Let's see. It happened against Baltimore and it happened against Miami. But here's his other stat lines. The Rams at the beginning of the year, 122, then 148, then 102, 148, and 108. And you kept him under 100, no touchdowns. Because that is wild. And the Jets need to be given their props. Now, same thing as we've been saying about the Bills for years.
Yeah.
You're on this roll. You got to finish. So make it to the playoffs, win a game or two. You were the real deal right now. But you got the momentum. You got to ride that shit, bro, because the Bills are going to be pissed after this. And oh man. So I am shocked. I am genuinely shocked. And I want to know what the hell they're putting in the water on the East Coast, because apparently all of the AFC and the NFC East is just out here balling out of control, bro. I don't know what's going on.
You're not wrong. Remember last week I had this big old thing telling you how I thought the Bills and the Chiefs were still the better teams in the NFL and all of this, and having the Bills go and lose to the Jets in New York. Look, you got to understand, when you've been announced as the Super Bowl favorite, every team is coming after you to get there. They're bringing their A game. They're raising the level. You've got to meet their level and be able to overcome it. And I was listening to Bill Simmons talking about this with Cousin Sal yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that he thinks there's a little bit thing that gets there's a little thing that happens with Josh Allen when games get tight. He starts to throw some crazy passes. He starts to swagger around. He starts to enjoy that, but without the results. He likes the back and forth and all of that, but he throws those interceptions, or he overthrows receivers, or he throws balls where they shouldn't be thrown into areas they shouldn't go in. But when he's up by 14, he is like Brett Favre on a high, man, just swinging it all around. But when he's down here, and I mean that literally and figuratively, but when he's down in the tight ones, he gets a little kind of rattled. And so they're wondering if this is a trend that is going to continue with Josh Allen, maybe something the Buffalo Bills coaching staff needs to look at. But the other side of this too, Winston, is that he's got an injury coming out of this game on the final drive. He hit his arm on a defender's helmet here. He's being evaluated for a right elbow injury to the ulnar collateral ligament and related nerves. This is according to Chris Mortensen over on ESPN. So that
Allen?
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Oh, dude, that's not good.
No, it's not good. And let me show you what someone thought about this. They said, yeah, Josh Allen being evaluated for a UCL injury. I love that. That's a great meme there for that
one. Because I am curious. It's not to say that the Bills are a one-trick pony.
No,
they have a lot of weapons across the board.
Yeah,
but this man has genuinely been leading this charge.
Oh yeah.
And to that point, you kind of look at it where Josh Allen goes, the rest of the team goes. Again, 200 yards and no touchdowns through the air. He obviously ran it in twice, but again, the Jets kept him to 17. I am very curious if he has to miss time.
Yeah,
if the Bills hold on. Yeah. Who's their backup? I don't even know who their backup is.
I don't even know who their backup is, to be honest with you.
For the Bills. I could try and find a depth chart real quick. Hold on. But
it's probably Blaine Gabbert. I imagine it's Blaine Gabbert.
Is it Blaine Gabbert?
It
might be, bro. I don't know. Let's see. Depth chart. It is Case Keenum.
Keenum. Hey,
no.
He's won some games for the Vikings, I guess.
He's won a couple, but there's a reason why Case Keenum is in its 10th season, kind of chilling in the background.
Man,
no, because I mean,
yeah. I don't know. Well, he might be a good game manager, man.
You never know. But I will say this, man. Did you see SNL? Because it's almost like they predicted what the fuck was gonna happen. Check out. I just shared my screen.
Yeah,
I'll put just a little bit of this, dude. So apparently this is what it was like in Jersey while the Jets are playing the Bills, is that the Jets fans were just complete assholes to the Bills fans, and they're just living there. Like there's one point in the sketch where a bunch of little kids are like, "Hey, you stupid pieces of shit, fuck you," but like SNL appropriate, and it's like a bunch of little kids just being like, "Mommy," like just walking by. Bro, I died. I absolutely died at that sketch, man.
Listen, no one's scarier than female fans at a football game. I'm telling you, I've never heard a male fan come close to some of the stuff that comes out of women's mouths at NFL games. I mean, I've gone red. I've gone white listening sometimes to some of their comments. It's insane. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but nice way to go into the bye for the Jets. Robert Saleh said, I'm taking receipts, I'm taking notes, of everybody who's tricked us or made fun of us or doubted us, and sure enough, he's got that going on now, and he must be sitting pretty. I mean, they're only half a game behind the Bills. Pressure is on, and the Dolphins are coming as well, so it's going to be very interesting, this AFC East. I think the Patriots are out of it, but those three are going to be some fun stuff going forward. All right.
Real quick, can you imagine what the Jets would be if Bryce didn't get hurt?
Yeah.
I
do think Carter is a good backup.
I'm not saying that he's not. I mean, Carter got you 76 and a touchdown, but the things Bryce was doing, holy shit. I hope he doesn't do something wild, because it was an ACL tear, right? And it was late in the year. I don't think that there's any way, like, let's say they do make it to the Super Bowl. There's no way that he's healthy enough in time. And I certainly hope, if there's like maybe he could do it, that they're not dumb enough to try and force this kid. I know it could be the biggest kid, but that's pretty much how Todd Gurley's career ended. They try to force him back too soon.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? Oh my God, they're going to be dangerous for a while.
Yeah, John Ward saying the Jets should have drafted Justin Fields. Yes, they took Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. Imagine Justin Fields on the Jets with the way they play. Goodness gracious. That's something that really, the Jets would be insane. But how did he know Robert Saleh was going to come there and help them be a better team? So, all right, let's move on to one more game here before we take a quick break. Speaking of Tua, here the Dolphins, and Tua outlasted the Chicago Bears, and Justin Fields on his record rushing day. Tua threw for 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 143 yards receiving, and they beat the Bears here 35-32. Tua completed 21 of 30 passes. That's a good percentage there for 302 yards without an INT, and he had a quarterback rating of 135.7. But Justin Fields ran for 178 yards, which is the most by an NFL quarterback in the regular season. Kaepernick had 181 for the 49ers in a playoff game. Michael Vick had been the record before in the regular season with 173 yards. So he broke that, but he also threw for 3 touchdowns and became the first player since 1950, when I was in high school, with at least 150 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in one game. And here's the scary thing. The Bears have scored 94 points in the last 3 weeks. That's insane. Anyway, yes.
Rocha, how you going to lie and say you were in high school in 1950 when you know your ass was around when Jesus was born? Don't do this.
Come on now.
Hey, man.
I saw him in sepia tone. That's how I remember.
Hey, I have said this over and over again. I hope that the Bears are continuing to build up a staff that can really help this kid, because I'm so afraid they're going to break him. Because this to me doesn't read, we've trained him up and look at what he's doing. This reads to me, this kid has some mad skills, and he was like, I'm going to will us into this, and almost got them there. But obviously that Miami's just on a different level right now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, good for Justin Fields. And I look, I know you said they had some 90-something points. You got to remember, the Cowboys, once we had a comfortable lead, kind of let them have some garbage time points. So don't act like they just out here.
Here we go.
Look, I'm dead serious. Go back and watch that game.
Stats, man.
We're up by like what, 3 scores, and they get another touchdown. We're like, fine, let's foot on neck, and then just put them down. You know what I'm saying? Put the bear down. You said you did like this, and they said, and then ran off. But I am so impressed with what Justin Fields did here today. I mean, that is a phenomenal way to break those records. But again, it's all about these Eastern divisions, man. Look at Tua out here, 303 touchdowns. Like, come on. That's absolutely crazy. And good on that O-line for making sure this man takes no more damage and keeping him away from sacks. I don't know if there were any late hits or anything like that happened. I didn't see this game directly, but he wasn't sacked at all.
Right.
And he's still, and with Tyreek Hill and Waddle, I don't think you can lose, bro. There's only one combination I can think of that might be able to beat that, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But Tyreek Hill and Waddle are the deadliest duo, I think, maybe in receiving. Maybe not the absolute best receivers. Like I might still give the edge to a couple other receivers, but this is the best receiving duo in the league, I think.
In the league right now, I would agree with you absolutely. And this reminds me, when you think of the Dolphins, this reminds me of Mark. This is probably before Winston's time, but Mark Super Duper and Mark Duper and Clayton. Those guys were incredible as a combo, and they were for the Dolphins, and they were just all over the field all the time. And so to me, those are the 2 guys that I thought were fantastic. But look, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for the Bengals are pretty good as well. And Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are starting to come on for those Eagles for sure, bro.
I get it, but no. Real talk. Chase is hurt, so that duo doesn't exist right now. I said in the league right now, so that doesn't exist.
Okay.
And then what was the other one you said? You said
what about Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson? You want to give them some love? No?
I don't think that Thielen is, because I'm not saying that Waddle is as good as Hill, but they're pretty damn close. I would say that what this reminds me of Roddy White and Julio Jones, that first or second.
Roddy White and Julio Jones.
You know what I'm saying? That was an insane duo that began the path of Matt Ryan eventually getting to that MVP season. That was insane. The only other duo I can think of was 2 tight ends when you had Gronk and Hernandez, before some unfortunate things happened. But like at the time, that was insane.
Oh yeah, that was Belichick. That was Belichick becoming Satan. Like, it was insane what he was doing with that offense with 2 tight ends that could do the things that they were doing. He was revolutionizing football. No one's been able to kind of copy that ever since, but it was incredible what he was doing with those 2 tight ends. You're absolutely right. All right, the fans taking the piss out of me here a little bit. High school with Moses. Yeah, he was a prick. He was a prick in high school. He was such a prick. He's like the quiet guy, but he's always parting shit. Son of a bitch.
Bro, I heard he was just always like hanging out. You know, he was constantly burning trees and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Started talking to him and shit.
Yeah.
What a stoner.
I saw him use the Talking Trees Act on a couple of girls. Give me a break, for God's sake. Rocha spent the spring break on Noah's Ark. It was a good time. cleaning
Bro,
up afterwards. That wasn't good.
Bro, did you please tell me you've seen the meme that's been going around on TikTok? I don't think you're on TikTok too much, but this woman goes, my favorite thing about the Bible that somehow no Christian caught was the fact that there are two gay lions essentially on every single like image of it, because obviously the female lions don't have a mane. Every single image of Noah's Ark is two maned lions, and
That's
it's
the
like
point.
you're not gonna repopulate lions that way, but
Nope.
good for you for being progressive.
You try telling one of the gay lions they have to stay back. I wouldn't do that. That's some scary shit. Rocha went streaking with Adam and Eve. That's right. I did.
Wait, that's actually pretty funny.
That is.
That was good.
Until
that was
the devil
good,
showed up. Clayton and Mark Duper. Mark Clayton and Duper. IMAX giving me a little shit for wearing my Florida State shirt. That's right. We took care of business, kicked the shit out of Miami over the weekend. We got a victory. I wish we'd beaten some more ranked teams, but unfortunately we lost to 3 ranked teams in a row, so we couldn't get ranked again. But hey, we can take the victories where we can find them. All right, let's take a quick break here, and we'll jump into the next 3 games in the first part of our show here right after this. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching this. I want to remind you all real quick that the Outlaw Nation has created a sports channel where Game Time is going to live starting next week. So if you're watching right now, and we usually get about 1,500 to 2,000, you're watching us every episode off of the subscribers I already have here in the Outlaw Nation, I would appreciate it if y'all headed on over to Game Time Sports and subscribe to the channel. I will put the link in the description of this video right now. I'll also put it in the chat here in just a second. So for any of you all that are able to follow or able to subscribe to us, that's where we're going to be. And there's going to be much more sports content, either solo or with other guests that I'm going to do. And the World Cup's coming up, so I'm going to be covering that on that channel as well. So just letting you all know, please subscribe to the Game Time Sports channel. And as I said, I will put the link in the description right now and in the chat as well. All right, let's move on.
Appreciate it. I don't want Rocha to fire me. Y'all better subscribe, goddammit. Shit, the minute he told me we're doing a separate channel, I took every single. I got like 5 channels. I went and subscribed with all them bitches. So that's all. That's most of it's me right now. I need y'all to go over here and do this, please.
Yeah, because I mean, I had to put it someplace, and I've got to create space to do more sports stuff. So I just need to be able to do that, and I want more freedom for us to do more things here on the channel as well. We currently have 53 subscribers. That is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 watch hours in order to accomplish being monetized. So I would love it if you guys joined us here. So I'm going to put it here in the chat right now. Subscribe here for Game Time Sports Channel, and I will put the link here for those of you who can use it.
I'll help you do some World Cup content if you want, man, because I'm geeking out about this. I've already got on the calendar. One of my best friends is Yanni, and so
nice.
I already have the 5 a.m. call, because every time he watches a World Cup game, like they won a game last year, and he just kept every time they scored, he would just start buying shots. And so and this was early. This was like 6 a.m. So I was wasted at like 8 o'clock. And had to Uber home and then get ready for work. So I'll happily do some World Cup stuff for sure, man.
All right. Many a Saturday I have spent in Santa Monica being drunk by 9 a.m. after going to see a Liverpool game there, and having to walk around the pier for 2 or 3 hours and sober up before I got in the car again. So I hear you, my man. But yeah, we'll be doing a lot more sports going on, cover some more NBA. I'm trying to find people who are baseball people and NHL people who are willing to come on and create a show on the channel. I can't pay everybody, but I certainly, if they want some exposure for a channel that's growing, it'd be great to have that as well. So subscribe now. I put it in the chat. And I put it right there in the description of this video as well. So, all right, let's jump into our next one here, Winston, and that is Tom Brady. As you mentioned earlier, Tom Brady coming back here, winning for the Buccaneers, leading them over the Rams 16-13 with a last-minute touchdown pass. It was a 1-yard touchdown pass to rookie Cade Otton with 9 seconds remaining in the game to give the Bucs the victory here. Brady was 36 of 58 for 280 yards. He broke some records in this game. He became the first player in NFL history to throw for more than 100,000 yards in a career. Jesus Christ. He also, what was the other record? He set a couple, he moved ahead of Peyton Manning for the most game-winning drives and matched Peyton Manning with his 43rd career fourth quarter comeback victory. Ryan Suckup had 3 field goals for the Bucs here. This was a sloppy, ugly game between two underachieving teams, but two most recent Super Bowl champions. And in the end, they got the job done here. The Buccaneers did. I mean, are we ready to say the Rams are done and the Buccaneers might still have a chance to win this division? Or what do you take away from this game, man?
I'm taking away that the Rams let too many of their pieces go because they went full-blown win now. They've been doing win now for forever. And it honestly feels like, you know what the Rams feel like, bro, and they felt like this for a while. They felt like old man Logan. And they were like, I guess I got to get another fight. And then you got hit over the head with a baseball bat by a bunch of cholos, and you're like, God damn it! And then you like cut them up, but you barely got out of there alive. And then all of a sudden, now you're having to deal with this child, and you're dealing with your homie who is angry all the time. I feel like Aaron Donald just has to be constantly angry, man.
Oh God,
and you're just doing everything you can to hold on for dear life, and you finally in that last battle, you got it. You got the chip. But now that little adrenaline boost that made you young you again, that shit gone, bro. You are done. And I if they do not get some infusion, yes, Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers maybe ever. The records he set last year, insane. But we've already talked about this. Ain't no one receiver going to carry the team on their back like that. No. You have to have a complementary piece. And I know they thought maybe they could get it out of Allen Robinson, but the Bears broke him. He's done with football. You know what I'm saying? Like he is done. So I just, God damn, dude. I cannot believe how far they have fallen. And the Bucs too. The Bucs look awful.
Yeah, dude.
They look so bad. This was like watching two old men just like slap at each other like this.
This was Grudge Match. This was Stallone versus De Niro in that terrible film Grudge Match. Two old guys trying to remember when they were boxers back in the 1980s doing it was rough to watch. And I agree with you, man. It was a sloggy field. It just was terrible and the Rams kind of had control of this game, but couldn't quite put it away. And then their defense they ran on that final drive, which was a prevent defense when they were controlling Brady the whole game. It made no sense to me. He tossed that ball over the middle, which was a great throw by Brady, classic Brady, but then they laid off the receivers by 10.5 yards. So they were able to get quick catches and out to stop the clock. So to me, I just didn't understand why you would adjust the defense in that way. And I don't know, man. McVay, is he looking at Amazon? Did they made him that offer? Is he kind of half in, half out? Is he not fully focused? I don't know. And I agree with you. They've let some pieces go, but there's still Cooper Kupp. There's still other receivers. They're not getting protection. Matt Stafford. Are we seeing the precipitous decline of Matt Stafford? He had one good year, led him to the Super Bowl. That woman falls off the stage, and next thing you know, Matt Stafford's not who he used to be. So I don't know what happens.
Fell off the stage.
You remember that? But no. The other side of this is also, and this is crazy, is this is a man, in my opinion, who is going through a divorce. You don't do this kind of hug unless you're not, this is a long hug with your offensive coordinator, him and Byron Leftwich. This is a man going through divorce, bro, holding on to anybody who's going to show him.
That's why. You know why, right? That is purely because, and I've said this. Everyone keeps saying, "Man, you just gave up your marriage for football." I am so sure they must have been having some serious problems.
Oh yeah, you don't just do that overnight. Yeah.
I think the decision to be like, you know what, fuck it, then I'm out. Is what pushed him over the edge. And this might be the only thing that's giving him any sort of like happiness.
Yeah.
And he ain't, until I see it, he ain't all of a sudden going to be Brady again. The Bucs, in my opinion, aren't going to do shit. You always have the opportunity because he's Brady to make a little noise in the playoffs, man. But this reminds me so much of Peyton Manning that last year on the Broncos, where like,
for the
most part, he was garbage. He would have a game or two where it's like, there he is.
Right.
But like, even you go look at that Super Bowl, he had like 120 yards, no rushes, no touchdowns. That was that defense. Yeah. And if the Bucs defense can't get it done, I don't even feel like this was sure, you had 4 sacks.
Yeah.
But they have been pedestrian compared to what they have been.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So if they're not going to be at that crazy elite level that they were the previous years, the Bucs ain't going to do shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The fact that I am now saying I have more faith in the Falcons.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. It is kind of crazy. I agree with you. Stormy saying Tom ain't getting no more intimacy at home, so he's long hugging folks now. No, you're right, Stormy. I don't doubt that at all. We're all human beings, man, going through a divorce, and you're going through a divorce to one of the most beautiful women on the planet, dog. And you move. The rumors are he moved to Florida so that he could be closer to her because she said, you need to be closer to me so that you can come take care of these kids sometimes when you need to. I know you're focused on football and everything like that, but I got stuff I want to do as well. He did it, and then that's why he got in trouble with that Miami stuff. There was rumors he was going to come back, but he wanted to stay in Florida and be the Dolphins quarterback here. All of this stuff, and then in the end, it just didn't work out. And she filed quickly, I think, a couple weeks ago. So I mean, I'm sure he's going through emotional stuff. And look, people can hate on him. He's been in 10 Super Bowls, the balls, and all of this stuff, and maybe the MAGA hat in his locker and everything. But he's still a human being at the end of the day, man. And so he's going through some shit, and he's going through it in a public way, like slamming tablets, get mad at people in ways you haven't seen before, losing weight, gaining weight, and now hugging Byron Leftwich like, I love you, man. I love you.
Can I ask you a question? And I'm not throwing shade.
Yeah,
I'm not throwing shade, and I'm not wishing any ill on him.
Just
hold me, brother. Do you think maybe Tom is sick?
I don't know. There were a lot of rumors because of how gaunt he looked over the last few weeks that he might have something and he doesn't want to reveal it. He doesn't want to show it. I don't know. I think it's depression.
It very well could be. Like I said, I'm not wishing anything on him.
Of course,
because of the weight loss, because I'll tell you one thing that really pissed off my family. When my dad got prostate cancer, he decided to tell nobody until he was about a month away from treatment being done. Wow. And it was one of those situations where they caught it early enough that we weren't ultimately like super, super scared that he was going to go. But there was he had about a 60% chance of making it. That's still almost a 50, like a coin flip that my dad was going to die. And he didn't tell us until super late. So what if it's a situation, not that he didn't tell Giselle, but that she knows. And she's like, can you not and spend time with the family?
Oh, fair points.
I am not wishing that on him at all. I'm so curious because of his decline. I mean, he's getting older, but his decline, the weight loss, the emotions, I don't know. I wonder, because when people are dealing with that and you start going through the stages of grief, a lot of times when you get that sick and you're not sure, maybe this was him going into that full-blown denial stage where he just becomes a workaholic again.
Yeah, he dives into his work, right? And, changes his diet even more. And I think it's depression. People lose. I lost 25 pounds when I was depressed in 2016. I was the skinniest I had been in a long time. I was 211. Well, I look fantastic, yet my whole life was fucking falling apart. So depression is that way. Some people eat when they're massive. When depression became massive. Some people lose weight in depression. You just never know. Haskell saying, I don't know if this is true, but rumors are also he came back this season to avoid getting that $376 million TV announcer deal, so Giselle wouldn't get half of it. I mean, that's a possibility too. You got to be prudent in that situation.
Damn! Wait a minute. Well, actually, I don't think so.
But she makes more money than he does.
Man. It's not just that. I think they have a prenup because if I remember reading that correctly, she was making Skrilla. She has made infinitely more, and I think people want to say, hey, Tom could see the forest from the trees. Nah, when you taking care, as far as taking a discount, I'm sorry, I should finish my sentence. As far as seeing the forest from the trees and taking a discount as many times as he did for Boston, people want to be like, oh, he's just a team player and he wanted to win. Well, when your wife out here, the richest supermodel in the world, it's easy to be like, nah, I don't need 20. You can give me 10. Spend that other 10 to go get me a defensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? That kind of works.
Nah, fam. Nah, exactly. Phil P. real quick with a super chat saying FSG selling Liverpool. You interested, Rocha? Woo! Yeah, I wish I could buy them. We'll see. Going to be $5 billion. If there's time at the end of the show, we'll talk about that for sure. And please keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. Haven't had too many Super Chats. We got 110 of you watching right now, so send in your love and support. And just a reminder, I said this, some of you maybe have come in over the last few minutes. We are going, this is the last episode that's going to be on the Outlaw Nation channel. We are moving to the Game Time Sports channel. That is going to be exclusively all sports content is going to be there. The link to subscribe to that channel is in the description of this video. It's also in the chat right now. So please hit that link and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss us talking every week about the NFL, getting to all things going on in sports and other things I'll be doing on the sports side as well. All right, let's move on to our next game here, Winston, and that is the Lions upsetting the Packers. Talk about quarterbacks that are on the decline or that you don't believe in anymore. Aaron Rodgers here threw 3 interceptions, arguably all 3 in the red zone here, and 2 of them in the first 2 drives of the Packers day. And the Lions beat this Packers team 16-9. There's now 1 game separation between the Packers and the Lions in the division right now. Aaron Rodgers was 38, dropped to 3-6 in the season. This is their 5th straight loss. And considering the matchup here, coming into week 9, the Lions ranked dead last in defense against the pass. And they were allowing 266.4 passing yards per game, which was 27th in the NFL. And they were allowing clubs to score touchdowns on 73% of their red zone trips. And to be fair to Aaron Rodgers, every throw he threw, the dude was open. He just was short on the throw or lofted it a little too much. And the defender was able to catch up and intercept him. So, dude, I mean, Rodgers came back also to lead this team. He said he'd done all this mantra studying or whatever, and now he's back, and even was a prick afterwards saying, we shouldn't be losing to a team like that. And it's like, bro, you are a team like that. I need to break it to you. So this is a hard thing to watch, but also kind of strangely satisfying because I think he's a bit of a prick. What do you think of this whole situation, man?
I think you got to be careful about how much ayahuasca you do. I was really hoping I was going to get you. I saw you go for that water, and I was like, oh, please, Jesus, let this hit at the right time. Look, man, I won't lie. I don't love it in the sense that, like, I decided to draft him in 2 leagues, so that sucks. Fortunately, I had some other options. I had, well, one of them is not great. One of them is Derek Carr. Yeah. And the other one is, oh God, it's either, I think that might be the team that I have Brady and Rodgers. So that's just damned if you do, damned if you don't in that league, man. Right. But everything that we went through with him this last year and some change.
Yeah, with the fake vaccination and all of that.
Immunization and being kind of like, I'm not going to lie that there is a large part of me that is genuinely kind of like, well, on top of the fact that, like, I've got no love for the Packers, bro. Yeah. Like, zero. And for them to have always been a threat because you just had 2 quarterbacks back-to-back that are easy first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Both of them pricks, one stealing money, the other just being a lying scumbag.
Yeah.
You just, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of enjoying this.
Okay.
But it is, but I can acknowledge talent when I see it. It's kind of crazy to see Rodgers fall off this hard after didn't he have back-to-back MVP seasons?
Yeah.
This hard? Like, what the hell?
It's always crazy when quarterbacks fall off the cliff. You're just so surprised by it. I mean, Tom Brady is struggling this year, and he won the MVP last year, right? So you're just like, how is this? Oh, he had MVP level season if he didn't win the MVP last year. I mean, he was leading the league, leading all quarterbacks last year.
Rodgers took it, if I remember.
Okay. But he was leading all quarterbacks in a lot of categories last year, Brady was. And so you're watching him play this year, and you're like, wow. And you're watching Rodgers play this year, and it was the MVP. You're like, this is insane. So you're just watching this happen. It's like a few months, and it's a completely different person and how they're playing the game. And that shows you how the game really is a game of millimeters, milliseconds, even when you're on top, and how just losing that little bit extra can send you right down the tube, man. And you look at I'm so surprised by what's happening with Aaron Rodgers and with Tom Brady here. And listen, it doesn't get any better for them. They have you guys next week who are still trying to kind of, keep on their winning ways and keep pace with the Eagles. Then they have Tennessee, which that defense might maul Aaron Rodgers. Then Philadelphia in Philly, then at Chicago. And that's a team that is waiting for him after all the shit he's talked about. Chicago, I bet those Bears are just frothing at the mouth to have a shot at Tom Brady. Then it's the Rams, then Miami, then Minnesota, then Detroit. Maybe 2 or 3 winnable games in that whole schedule for them in the back half of the year now. And it looks like this losing streak is going to continue for a bit, man.
I see some people trying to say that he loves to go off on the Cowboys. Look, maybe there's some little fire that's coming in there, but honestly, with what weapons? These receivers haven't come through, and we're talking about one of the best defenses the Cowboys have ever put up. This defense will smack you in the fucking mouth. And Aaron may still be putting the ball where it needs to be, but if his receivers don't get there, who will scoop that up? Diggs and those corners. They will snatch those balls that the receivers do not show up to. Yeah. So I think their woes are going to continue. We're coming off this bye week, rested up. They've had plenty of time to watch how inept these receivers are. And I think the one thing, and this is sad to say, because I was excited for this kid when he got drafted. I believe Watkins was drafted by the Bills, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
In 2014. At what point are we going to be like, I think that's a wrap on Sammy Watkins, bro? He just hasn't been the answer for so many teams. And it seems like wherever Sammy Watkins goes, losses follow. Yeah. It's sad to say, but if I'm just being 100% honest, I think because they're still looking at him to go and body people and he doesn't do it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it just they don't get their bye week until after Chicago. I mean, the team may be absolute toast by the time that bye week shows up, and we may be. I'm already seeing articles on some sports websites this morning and yesterday about benching Aaron Rodgers. That there's no reason to keep playing him if he's going to play like this. You might as well get Jordan Love some minutes in games and get him some game experience if you're going to move on from Rodgers, if he's toast, So I'm kind of in if they lose a couple more games, there is no reason Aaron Rodgers needs to keep playing out the cycle the rest of the season. Get Bryce Love in there or Jordan Love rather in there, and let Aaron just play backup and hang out with the team and mentor him and all of that jazz. Because the time is done, man. Yeah.
Can I say the one thing that's kind of interesting is I am shocked. I understand the Lions are not doing well.
Yeah.
Who the fuck trades your arguably best receiver?
Oh yeah, they're tight
ends. To a division rival.
Yeah, that's weird.
If you want to trade them, fine, but to a division rival?
Yeah.
Are you smoking something? I don't. This is why even with Hard Knocks, I can't. I was excited for the Lions, but it becomes hard to take them seriously.
Yeah.
Because you are setting up one of the teams you hate more than anything to ride on your ass.
Yeah.
It's fair point. Wouldn't be me, bro.
It's a fair point. All right, before we move on to our next one, our last game here in the first block, Hector G sent in a Streamlab. Thank you, Hector. He says, hey, John, happy to hear about your new channel. Thank you. Already subscribed. Thank you. Do you think you would talk about the MLS? This past weekend's final was epic. I think any sports fan would have appreciated that game. You're absolutely right. It was an incredible game between the Philadelphia Union and the LAFC, who I cheer for. I never liked the Galaxy, but I was a DC United fan, so I was never going to like Galaxy. But then I became an LAFC fan because I love that black and gold combo, and I love Bradley coming in as a coach there. So I supported them, but I'm no fan or anything like that. But I supported them for sure, and seeing them get to the final was pretty incredible. And then that final was insane, 3-3 all the way down to penalties. That goalie getting hurt near the end, Gareth Bale scoring the goal for LAFC when he didn't even start the game was incredible. And right after the Philadelphia Union's Twitter handle tweeted out that their guy who had scored the third goal to put them up 3-2 late in stoppage time in the overtime time, extra time rather, they said better than Gareth Bale, and then Gareth Bale minutes later scored the goal to tie it up to send it to penalties, and the LAFC won. You got to understand, if you're a 21-year-old social media intern, you can't tempt the fates in sports. You never know what can happen. So
three things.
Yeah.
3 things. 2 of them related to this, and one more thing about the Packers. The first thing is Hey, social media intern for the Philadelphia Union. What if you shut the fuck up? Like real talk.
Yeah.
What? Shut the fuck up.
It's
You
such a mistake.
literally jinxed yourself. Like, has nobody learned until the whistle sounds? Stop running your mouth.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Second. So, ACFC started this year for the Women's Soccer League. The Angel City Football Club.
Yes.
My girlfriend had been going to the games with her homies. I'd never had time because it was always in the middle of when I was working. But they had a great time. It was a good season, all that kind of stuff. She calls me, oh my God, ACFC won. They won the whole thing. And I was like, what? That's crazy. Good for, I didn't think they were doing that well playoff. Like they had a fun season, but I didn't think, that's wild. And then we're at the bar and it's everybody be like, LAFC. And I was like, wait, that's not. And I was like, baby, did you mean LAFC? And she goes, what did I say? I said, you said ACFC. Yeah. She goes, is that not the same thing? I was like, no, that's men's soccer.
Versus women's, yeah.
She goes, ain't nobody care about that shit. And I was like, girl. But then finally, check out the screen share about the Packers. This was the one thing that got me, man. So for those that don't know, Lil Wayne, even though being from New Orleans, he's been a diehard Packers fan. He said, RIP to the season. We should have got rid of 12 before the season started. It became a whole thing that people were like, bro. So I don't know if he lost Lil Wayne. That might be it for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Norval Ross, for that super sticker. Appreciate it, brother, man. Yeah, keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go along. We're a little light this week, but hey, come on, send them in. We got 118 of you watching. If you can't send any support that way, please at least hit a like on this video and subscribe to the sports channel. It is in the description of this chat, and it's pinned in this chat as well. Description of the show, rather. All right, let's move on to our last game here. This is the Winston A. Marshall special. Geno Smith led the Seahawks to a 31-21 victory over the Cardinals. They're ruining Kyler Murray attempt to win a game here. He had thrown a pick six early in the second half, Geno Smith did, and then shook it off and led the offense, the Seahawks offense, on touchdown drives of 75, 81, and 85 yards here to dismantle these Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray were having words on the sideline. I mean, because Hopkins only had 4 catches for 36 yards. He did have a touchdown. Murray only threw for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns and lost a crucial fumble in the second quarter that helped stop the momentum when the Cardinals were getting a little bit of momentum themselves. The Seahawks have now won 4 straight games, while the Cardinals have lost 4 out of 5. And Kenneth Walker, who's stepping in as running back for these Cardinals, or for the Seahawks rather, has run for over 100 yards in 4 straight games, which is pretty incredible here as well. In this one, he ran 109 yards for 2 touchdowns. So Winston, fucking Seahawks, man. It's no longer like, oh, the plucky. They look like a legitimate. They're rounding into shape into a legitimate threat in the NFC, man.
Bro, first of all, about the Cardinals, you're wrong. The Cardinals are not ruining Kyler Murray. You know what's ruining Kyler Murray? That Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 dropped last week. That's what happened.
Kyler Murray's brain is ruining Kyler Murray.
It dropped last Friday. What the fuck you think is going to happen, Rocha? That's a wrap on Kyler Murray. He is done with the production. He has gone home. He's done. He is done. All right? He's out here trying to get his perks.
What's that?
He's trying to get his motherfucking perks run. He's done.
Sorry, coach.
Sorry, I'm working. Damn.
I can't. I threw a touchdown here, coach. On Madden. I threw a touchdown in Madden, coach.
Someone was banging on the ceiling because I apparently was yelling. They don't understand that this is what I do. Because anyway, yeah, I am looking at all of this, and the Seahawks, man, are so good, and there are 2 things that is leading to their success. And I'm not saying their defense has been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
It obviously has been Geno's resurgence. Nobody saw this out of Geno, except for maybe Geno and Pete Carroll. And look what he's doing. But other than that, it's Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
The fact that they didn't know that is who they had,
right, is
crazy. Kenneth is a monster. And the fact that you were kind of rolling with the oh my God, what's his name? I already forgot because he's been injured for a minute.
Chris.
Carson.
Yeah, Carson.
Which
Yeah,
Carson is good.
yeah, of course.
I don't think anybody knew that Walker was this good.
Right.
Homie looks like Tony Pollard, where people are like, "Dude, you play Pollard over Zeke now?" Because what the hell? Like Walker is so good.
Yeah.
So with that duo, this feels like Wilson and Lynch all over again.
Yeah.
And you found this new 1-2 punch and when you still have people like Metcalf, Lockett, and Fate, man, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, bro.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible to see. Yeah. I'm starting to come around on cheering for them because I kind of like the Geno Smith story. I was like, this is a journeyman every once in a while getting a little bit, but now it seems like he has found the right home. Pete Carroll looks like a quarterback whisperer here. And if this team starts to believe in themselves, they could be a really tough out because Pete knows how to get a defense ready to go against teams in the NFL for many years with Russell. And you're watching Russell absolutely laying shit eggs all over the Broncos and watching Geno Smith kind of be revitalized here. It's been fun to watch. And so in this game against the Cardinals, man, this was a slow suffocation of the Cardinals. And they are first place in the NFC West. The NFC West, which has the 49ers, the Rams, and the Cardinals, it's the Seahawks at 6-3 who are in first place. This is no longer a mirage. This is a real team. So
which we're being corrected, and I appreciate y'all helping out. Carson retired. It's Rashard Penny.
Oh, Rashard Penny. Sorry about
that got hurt. But yes, no, I'm blown away, man.
Yeah.
He is in those few 4 to 5 games, he has already become the rushing leader for the team this year.
Yeah.
That quickly. He is playing lights out, man. He is killing it. So good for this team. That makes me happy. And it makes this house much more fun to be in when both our teams are doing well, because we both didn't expect it. The minute Dak went down, I was like, well, football's over. And then the minute they traded Russell Wilson this summer, she goes, well, I guess I am a Cowboys fan and nothing else. I don't know what to do. Right. But both of our teams are winning. This is awesome.
Yeah, fair point. They've got Tampa Bay next week at home. So Tom Brady, I'm sorry for what's left of your body because I have a feeling they're going to ragdoll. And this one's in London. Sorry, this is in London next week.
I thought it was Munich.
Is it going to be in Germany? Sorry about that. Yeah, in Germany. Okay, so that could be interesting.
Apologize, but I think it's in Munich. Yeah.
No, I'm sure you're right. I don't keep track of the European games. But then they take a bye week, and then the back half of their season is real interesting. Some tough games here. They've got Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Carolina, San Francisco, Kansas City, the Jets, and then they finish up with the Rams. So it's good. It's a you want this? Do you want to win the division? Do you want to be taken seriously? This is a nice combination of decent to good to damn good teams that they've got to get through to come out the other side and see if they're going to win the division. This is your Andy Dufresne section of your schedule. You got to crawl through 500 yards, a river of shit to come out clean on the other side. Let's see if you can do it. So,
here's what I would say. Let's say you don't want to have a losing streak. That's not great.
Right.
But I think you can easily handle the Bucs. I just don't have faith in them anymore.
Yeah.
I think you can handle the Raiders. Even though the Rams are doing bad, it's a division rival, and they are the reigning champs. But I think you can handle that too. So, and then Carolina. So if you win those 4, so you would be on an 8-game winning streak. Let's say you drop 2 of the 3 between San Francisco, Kansas City, and the Jets, and then you finish business with the Rams. You're looking in great shape. Yeah. You're doing wonderful. So if you only lose maybe another 2 to 3 games, you got shit on lock. Hopefully the two of the 3, one of them is not San Francisco, because they're still nipping at their heels. You don't want to lose another division game to them. You want to hold the tiebreaker.
And you have 2 games against the Rams in the last 6 weeks or 7 weeks of the season. So you don't want to lose 2 of those 2 games too, because that could be a tiebreaker in the end. So so we'll see what happens, but they've been fun to watch so far. It'll be exciting as we get in the next few weeks. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll jump into the best of the rest and a little bit of NBA news right after this. All right, we got 115 of y'all watching us right now. Thank you so much. Please make sure you hit a like on this video, and most of all, please make sure you subscribe to our Game Time Sports channel. This is the last Game Time that is happening here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Is moving to its own channel. the link to subscribe to that channel if you want to keep watching Winston and I every week talking NFL and other sports content coming on the channel. It is in the description of this video. It's also pinned in the chats. Would appreciate you all subscribing. We've got to get to 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 watch hours in order to get monetized on that channel. So would appreciate any help you all have to subscribe to it. And we used to get 1,500 to 2,000 views every week on this show. So appreciate it if every person who watches subscribes, we can get there as quick as possible. All right, let's move on to the best of the rest here in the NFL. Baltimore and New Orleans went at it last night. Kenyon Drake rushed for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they won 27-13 over those Saints. Joe Mixon went fantasy football crazy, scoring 5 touchdowns as the Bengals dominated the Panthers here, 42-21. The Eagles stayed unbeaten with a pretty simple 29-17 victory over the Texans in a Thursday night game. So now they get 10 days to rest for their next game here. The Vikings came back and beat my Commanders after they teased me, they tickled my balls and made me think that maybe we were going to win. Kirk Cousins came back and led the team, finally showing up at a big game. 20 of 40 for 265 yards with touchdown passes to Justin Jefferson and that Dalvin Cook throw, which was a pretty throw to end up beating us in the end after Tyler Heineke threw just a heartbreaking interception there to give them the opportunity to come back and beat us. The Jaguars rallied from 17-0 down to beat the Raiders 27-20, even after Devontae Adams had 9 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jags answered with Travis Etienne running for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Pats got 9 sacks, 9 sacks in a dominant 26-3 victory over the Colts with Mac Jones throwing a touchdown pass. And Cameron Dicker the kicker, came on from the practice squad and kicked a 37-yard game-winning field goal 3 days after being signed as off the squad there, lifting the Chargers over the Atlanta Falcons 20-17. So which of these rest of the games stands out to you that you want to talk about here, Winston?
All right, so I just want to make sure I pull this up real quick.
Yeah.
So first of all, my boy Mixon, 53.1.
That's insane.
Points. This particular game, 53.1 points he had on 22 rushing attempts. He had 153 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns on 5 targets. He had 4 receptions for 58 yards and a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Just so good. Just the way it hits your tongue. Second of all, I call it your nonsense. So you still gonna be out here in these streets saying the Eagles aren't the best team in football, sir? Was it not you last week? Was it what?
I don't know.
Are you kidding?
It's the Texans. Serious? I can't learn anything from them beating the fucking Texans.
And they almost lost. Don't get me wrong. They almost it was
tight in the first half.
They almost fucked it up. But you know who also almost fucked it up and then did fuck it up? The Bills. You kept going on about the Bills. And you know who actually came out on top? The Eagles, unfortunately. But you ain't put respect on their name. So I just want to ask a question. Do you still think that the Bills are better than the Eagles?
No, I don't right now. Josh Allen being 0-2 against the division opponents, that's not a good look. Even if they were close games, you still lost them, and that counts. So no, but I do think the Chiefs are better than the Eagles. I do right now. So we'll see what happens with the Eagles. They play my Commanders on Monday night next week. If we pull off an upset, it's not going to happen. But if we pull off an upset, maybe things change. But we had a chance against those Vikings, man. We were up by 10. We had it and just kind of absolutely blew it there at the end. So we could have actually made some noise if we had beaten the Vikings, then beaten the Eagles next week. People might have had to reevaluate where they see the Commanders right now. But in the end, we didn't get the job done. Yeah.
The other thing I got to say at this point, because we're this far in the season,
a
lot of people are like, well, the Eagles haven't trailed in the second half yet. And miss me with that for a couple of reasons. They don't allow themselves to do so.
Yeah.
So yes, it is something to be said. If someone smacks you in the mouth, how do you handle it? But the thing is, people have tried and they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So until you actually get a team that is able to do that, and again, I know I'm harping on my own shit here.
Yeah.
I think our defense was strong enough. And honestly, if we had Dak, if either Cooper was playing at the level he was playing a couple of weeks prior, or if Dak had been there, that could have been a very different outcome. But at this point, They are 2 games ahead of the next best team.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Some. I don't like doing it. Put some respect on Philly's name. Like, damn. Because the other part of it too is it's not just skill. At a certain point, there is luck. At a certain point, when you say they haven't trailed, that means that that's some damn good coaching. That means that you've got an attitude where you don't allow yourself to get to that point. Right. Like you're making points on first drives and things like that, or second drive. Like I don't like do. You have to understand how much this hurts me. This is so painful. Clear. This is like setting a dislocated shoulder. Nobody wants to do it, but if you don't, you're going to end up in worse trouble later. The Eagles are the best team in football, man. Come on.
But look at this again. Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars, Cardinals, Cowboys without Dak Prescott, the Texans. That's not a killer resume.
It's a shit, but they're undefeated.
They're beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and great teams do that. So
they are undefeated. Mind you, their next major test, I agree, because Washington, Indiana, and Green Bay is not going to be a test.
Nope.
But then you have the stretch of Tennessee, the Giants. Ain't nobody care about the Bears, but then Dallas and the Giants one more time. So yes, the hardest part of their schedule is about to happen.
Yeah.
And it will be very interesting to see what happens with them.
If they get through that schedule and they only lose 2 games, then I will absolutely say they're the best team in football.
But here's the other thing about football, because football, the way the playoffs are set up, because it's about like typically with the NBA, with the MLB, with the NHL, because it's a series, the best team almost always comes out of that.
Yeah.
In this particular case, because it's one and done, parity happens all the time. You could be the best team in football and not be the team that wins the Super Bowl. So I'm just objectively looking at it, what they're doing. That defense, they have some of the best ball hawks in the game.
Yeah.
And that Hurts is doing all sorts of just demon magic. We got to call it how we see it, man.
That's fair. But, only 1 game behind them is the Vikings. Are you ready to say the Vikings are the second best team in the NFL? It's 7-1.
The only reason that I would say no to that, because I hear what you're saying, because I didn't say record was everything.
Right.
1, the Vikings did lose. 2, they've had and 2,
it was to the Eagles. It was only to the Eagles.
Absolutely.
That's their only loss.
But like that's all I'm saying is that when you include the undefeated record at this point, along with the fact that they're never down in the second half, there's a lot to be said there. The Vikings have some things they're working out. They're mad good. I'm not going to take that away from them either, but
yeah.
So the only other thing that I'll say that I want to talk about is the only trade that matters, and it's not really a trade, it's a signing, that the Cowboys are currently the favorite to sign Odell Beckham Jr. And if that happens, y'all can kiss my ass. We are winning the Super Bowl. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If Odell Beckham Jr. comes to goddamn Cowboys, all we need is somebody to help CeeDee Lamb get a little more. That's a wrap, son. That's a motherfucking wrap.
That's a good point. Real quick, and shout out to Joe Mixon, but he did it against the Panthers, so I'm not, great. 5. I hope they figured out, hey guys, it ain't just Joe Burrow. You've got Joe Mixon on the team. Make it work, because that game against Cleveland was horrific to watch. The Bengals did not give the ball to Mixon at all, or hardly at all, and I think that's what ended up costing him. So I'm glad they figured it out here against the Panthers. Get the balance working for sure. Overall, real quick, Jeff Saturday. They fired Frank Reich, the Colts did, and they hired Jeff Saturday, who has nothing more than high school coaching experience, to come off the desk as an ESPN analyst to be the head coach of an NFL team. I know Jim Irsay is like kind of a rebel, but dare I say outlaw, but like he's crazy for this decision, don't you think?
Yo, Rocha, you know the very famous like Black empowerment song, "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black."
Yeah.
Yo, to be old, hooked up, and white. Like that's the remix for Jeff Saturday that he is a staple in Indianapolis. Irsay was like, we need a new coach, man. Come handle your business for a minute. Look, I like Jeff Saturday, so I genuinely
like him on ESPN. Yeah,
I also liked him as a player when he was there with Peyton. So I genuinely want him to succeed.
Right.
I would like for him to come in, win some games, maybe even potentially win the head coaching job permanently if he does well. I like Jonathan Taylor, though he's out injured, isn't he?
Yeah.
But like I feel so bad for how Matt Ryan got done. Like I would like for him to have a couple like a little bit of success before he gets out of here.
Right.
But this seems like a really dumb move. I don't know.
Matt Ryan will be quarterback in the Commanders next year. I just know it. I think this is a weird move. I also think the way they circumvented the Rooney Rule. I understand why people are upset about that because Irsay was like, no, with the interim thing, we don't have to interview anybody of color. But then he followed up by saying he hopes Jeff Saturday succeeds because he'd like to make it permanent. So there's no real attempt. There's not going to be no real attempt to do the Rooney Rule. That being said, though, they have a history of hiring black coaches with Tony Dungy, with the name just escaped me, Caldwell, with Jim Caldwell. So they have a better history than most of the NFL teams of hiring black head coaches. So maybe they get a little bit of a pass, but I do understand the criticism, and I think it's fair, especially when it's a guy with no coaching experience in college or pro at all coming in to be the head coach of a professional football team. You can analyze and play for an NFL team all you want, but it's a whole nother ball game when you're actually doing it, And so I wonder how this is all going to play out. And there are definitely plenty of experienced coaches of color who should have been considered in this situation. But hey, he's the owner. He's going to do what he's going to do. We'll see at the end. And Sam Erlinger is apparently going to stay the starting quarterback for now, even though Matt Ryan is doing better. So we'll see how that takes on. Let's move on to some NBA stuff, because I know we got some time. We're running out of time here. Winston, the Kyrie Irving situation has dragged on here a little bit. He delivered an apology finally late at night on his social media after Joe Tsai made it clear that they were going to possibly increase his suspension past the 5 games without pay. And so I don't know how much weight I put in that, but now it's come out, according to Shams here, Shams Charania, who covers the NBA, that the Nets have a certain list of demands they want Kyrie Irving to do: apologize and condemn the film he promoted, make a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes, complete sensitivity training, complete anti-Semitism training, meet with ADL and Jewish leaders, then meet with team owner Joe Tsai to demonstrate an understanding of the situation. Now, before you go after the Nets or go after Joe Tsai, this for anybody who's watching, Joe Tsai watched that movie. He watched the movie that Kyrie Irving had tweeted out in order for him to have some understanding about where Kyrie Irving was coming from. He also researched the Black Hebrew Israelite movement so he'd have more understanding of Kyrie Irving, which is why he delayed handing out this kind of punishment. So do we think this is actually kind of maybe a little bit fair that you have an owner who's taking more interest in understanding his star players' point of view before meeting out these conditions? What do you take away from this situation, man?
I don't have a problem with it in the sense that, like, I haven't seen the movie. I feel like, because it's one of those things where you gotta kind of know the enemy, if you will, as far as like how hateful this is. The movie opens with an anti-Semitic quote from Hitler.
Right.
So to honestly just retweeting and be like, hey man, you gotta think, and like I didn't necessarily mean I agree with everything, but like I'm just really tired. Sorry, someone got my contact. I'm just really tired of Kyrie's nonsense. And so, I think that that's more than fair, especially knowing that that Tsai took the time to go and look at all of it before he made any sort of declaration.
Name how many owners would actually do that. It's just probably in one hand you could name the amount of owners that would do that of a sports franchise.
It's also 3.5 hour long film. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not watching. Bro, do you know how mad I was? I had to watch 4 hours of the Snyder Cut. You think I'm gonna watch 3.5 hours of anti-Semitism? What the hell?
No, it's kind of crazy. Yes. Yeah, look, I think it's fair that they put these conditions on. You're paying him millions and millions of dollars. So to me, he's an employee of the organization. I don't care how much autonomy and all the stuff he has as a player. You're an employee. You've signed the contract. There's stuff in the contract that I'm sure talks about morality clauses and racial stuff. And look, and to me, at the end of the day, silence is violence, no matter what race you are. Silence is violence, or ethnicity, or religious belief. So if you're going to be anti-Semitic, if you're going to have NBA players not chiming in on this stuff, I think it's a detriment overall. And Kyrie is just, I know he's an intellectual. I know he's a smart guy. I saw Sean King defending him, and I respect Sean King's point of view on this. But like in the end, to me, this is a bad look, and he wants to be this beacon of light for so many people. Well, the way you do that is when you make a mistake, you own up to it, you apologize, and you move on. You apologize to people you hurt, and you move on. You don't put an apology late at night on your social media where it might get not get picked up by the news or not become a big deal. Have a press conference, answer some questions, go toe to toe with people, and kind of explain yourself. I think that's the way you do it. Take the hits, and then you move on. You'll learn more from swallowing your pride than being stubbornly digging in your heels in a situation which doesn't look good for you. So
I think the thing that's the most painful about it, man, is like I would highly suggest to everybody. I'm plugging early my Wakanda Forever review that went up at 9 a.m. over on my channel at the Swaggy Blur channel. Please go check that out. But one of the main themes of Wakanda Forever, and this isn't a spoiler, it's this idea of horizontal oppression. It's this idea of people that have been obviously the Wakandans haven't necessarily been marginalized, but they are being attacked by the rest of the world, by colonizers, all that kind of stuff. The idea of black and brown folk attacking each other. The same could be said about black folk and Jews. That like,
yes,
if you think about how many Jews died in the Holocaust, there's what, I think 5 million Jews left in the world, something like that. It's very low number. So they are a minority. And so it's a situation where we should be lifting each other up, not this cross-cutting. So for Kanye and Kyrie to both fuel this bullshit, this shit's got to stop, man.
I agree with you, man, because you can point out negative narratives about both blacks and Jews that are predominant throughout the society in a white controlled society. I think that's the thing that's insane. A white Catholic in essence, or Christian in essence, controlled society. And I think that's what they want to do, is this idea of pitting minorities or people of color or people of different ethnicities or different religions against each other, so that the overall control stays where it's at. And that's where the problem lies for sure. So, let's move on to another story, not to end on a down note, but interesting note here. Anthony Davis, there are rumors here. I'm getting this from Bill Simmons of The Ringer. He was talking about the possibility on his podcast that there's been, quote, some buzz about Anthony Davis possibly being involved in trade talks from the Lakers' point of view. This is his quote. So the Lakers lost again today. There's some buzz, just some buzzing, that Anthony Davis might be available. That's a plan B, because the Westbrook trade, or whatever they think they can get for Westbrook, and whether you want to give up future assets, maybe that doesn't even make sense, because what are you getting if you're the Lakers? And Anthony Davis is averaging about 22.5 points a game, 11.1 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2.1 blocks, and 1.6 steals. And he's shooting 52% for the field. But in the second half, he is attempting 10.8 shots in the first half of games, but in the second half, he's only attempting 6.3 shots per game. Lonnie Walker, the fourth on the Lakers, is averaging more shot attempts in the second half than Anthony Davis. So you wonder if the usage rate on him is a coaching situation, or is players not trusting him? And if they're not weaving him into the second half, if I'm Anthony Davis, I myself may want to get out of this dumpster fire of an organization right now and go someplace else, even though I, forced my way over there, because it seems like they want to trade everybody but LeBron, man.
LeBron is still the face of the league. And he's not necessarily playing lights out the way LeBron has for so long. He's still playing pretty well. And the issue with Anthony Davis is it's not just the usage, man. The man has not been able to really stay healthy the last year or two. You know what I'm saying? So if he's not putting up insane numbers, and there's always the scare of health, sure, you get rid of Westbrook first because he's just not a good fit. It's really not working with this squad. But if you can't, I don't. That's your next biggest piece. I don't see why you don't. And you know, LeBron will be here for a couple more years because he wants to see his son. And then, but I that sucks, man. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not anti-Lakers though. I love the Mavs more. I do feel bad for Laker fans who thought, wow, what a duo that Anthony Davis and LeBron is going to be. And it just, you got one.
Whatever you want to say.
You got one bubble title, and then it's just been nothing but disaster since.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's interesting to see the Lakers kind of exploring all these possibilities, and they're still kicking around the Kyrie Irving thing. I think that's why LeBron didn't come out, and he didn't make a statement about it. He's saying he hurt some people, but he didn't come out with a strong statement. And so that to me makes me think they're still kicking the tires on Kyrie Irving reuniting with LeBron. It wouldn't be interesting if they traded Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving to the Nets and Davis and KD together on the team with it could be very interesting. I don't know, but it's crazy. All right. Anyway, let's get on out of here.
wait. What? TNT calls AD street clothes because he never plays. Yeah, that's how you end the show, bro.
That's terrible, bro. That is terrible. Oh my God. Wow. All right. Well, let's get on out of here. We got 115 of you watching right now. Please make sure you hit a like on this video as we're wrapping up here. And I want to stress this again. This is the last Game Time episode here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I've had to move it over to a separate sports channel. The link is in the chat right now. It's pinned in the chat. It's also in the description of this video. Please subscribe. Trying to get to at least 1,000 subscribers on that channel and 10,000 watch hours so we can monetize it. I'll be doing more sports content, like solo content with other guests. Winston has been open to do some World Cup stuff. So we're going to cover a lot of things over there, as well as this is just going to be a movies and TV entertainment channel now, clearly, because wrestling is also moving off. This last episode will be this Saturday as well. So everything is moving off. So please subscribe to the channel. Help us do that. Winston, another great show, brother, man. Please tell people where they can find you and your Black Panther review.
Absolutely. First John Ward World Series. Fuck the Astros. Dude,
sorry, Brad Gilmore.
Bro. They still ain't owned up for cheating all them years ago. So I don't care what they do. I don't care if the team's made over until somebody makes a real apology and face some punishment. Fuck the Astros. You can find me.
Yeah, I'm happy for Dusty Baker. I'm happy for Dusty Baker, who's a lifelong guy.
Sure. Yeah. I guess. You can find me everywhere that Swaggy Blood is sold. I would say Twitter, but that's about to die. Instagram, TikTok. Again, at my I know, and my YouTube channel. As John mentioned, I haven't been on Twitch in a minute, but I need to get back over on there. But I just dropped at 9 a.m. so about an hour ago my Black Panther non-spoiler review. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The only spoiler, and it's not really a spoiler, is just that T'Challa is dead, but that's in the trailer. That's in the synopsis. You didn't know that. I don't know what to tell you. But I go in depth about the themes that Ryan Coogler's exploring, the acting, the production quality. Had a really nice just stream of thought on that. So yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Look for that thumbnail. Look for that thumbnail.
Absolutely. Look for that. But again, if you go youtube.com/theswaggyblurred, you'll be able to find me. But yeah, thank you so much, y'all, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to Winston A. Marshall. For me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Please subscribe to this channel. We're going to stay in entertainment, though. I know you're watching sports, but if you like entertainment and movie reviews, all of that, the trailer reactions, conversations, we've got the hot mic, everything, please make sure you subscribe down below. I will do my Black Panther non-spoiler review later on today because I got to let this video breathe for a little bit on the channel, and then I'll be doing that later on today. So look for that as well. But remember, the Game Time Sports channel, one more time, I just put it in the chat one more time for those of you who can't see it pinned in the chat. Please subscribe to it. It's also in the description of this video. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. Have a great rest of your week. I know it's a tough day today with all that's going on. Whatever you need to do to try to kind of level the mind out, do that for yourself.
You're in America. Go vote, goddammit. Go vote.
Absolutely.
Go vote, and go see it in IMAX. I see that last thing. Don't see it in normal screen. See it in IMAX.
Wakanda Forever. Absolutely. Good God Almighty. Please do. All right. Take care of you guys. Peace.